The Temptations' soulful harmonies may have made them legends, but behind the success of their Motown career, there were various scandalous details that they wished nobody knew about. Join us as we uncover the Temptations' 10 unfortunate moments and why they want you to forget. Eddie's health challenges. Eddie Kendricks became a member of the Temptations in 1964, where he showcased his tenor voice, particularly noted for his distinctive falsetto technique. He served as a lead vocalist from 1964 until 1971 and achieved considerable success as a solo artist in the early 1970s. Kendricks was instrumental in crafting many of the vocal arrangements for the Temptations and also took on the role of the group's fashion designer. Collaborating closely with the band's initial producer, Norman Whitfield, he co-wrote numerous hits for the Temptations.
Well, I think, from my recollection, I think we had like 23 gold albums and about 18 singles.
Good goodness.
However, by the late 1960s, Kendricks began to feel a disconnect from the group, particularly as the new psychedelic sound, introduced by producer Smokey Robinson, emerged. This led to conflicts with fellow band members, culminating in his departure from the group in April 1971.
And during that 30 minutes and 15-minute break, yeah, well, Smokey, we met Smokey, he was at the backstage at the Apollo.
Following his exit, he embarked on a solo career with Motown Records. Unfortunately, by the early 1990s, Kendricks faced significant health challenges, including the removal of one of his lungs in 1991. He later cautioned young individuals against smoking, a habit he had maintained for approximately 30 years. Kendricks passed away from lung cancer at the age of 52 on October 5, 1992, in a hospital in his native Birmingham, Alabama. Well, this was not the only thing Eddie. Wait till you see the next one on the list. Eddie Kendricks' legal battles. Eddie Kendricks, the celebrated falsetto vocalist, known for his contributions to numerous hits by the Temptations, initiated a solo career following his departure from the legendary Motown group in 1971. However, his journey toward success as an R&B icon was significantly hindered by legal issues, primarily related to disputes over royalties and financial matters that arose after he left the Temptations. Kendricks found himself embroiled in legal conflicts that not only tested his determination, but also overshadowed his career following his time with the group.
Braxton, and he has since passed away.
Yeah.
And I told him if I ever had a chance to do the song, I would record it. And I finally got a chance, and I recorded it.
The decision to leave the Temptations represented a significant moment in Kendricks' career, motivated by creative differences and a yearning for personal artistic expression. Nevertheless, this transition was accompanied by a multitude of challenges, both in his professional and personal life. A major legal issue that Kendricks confronted after departing from the Temptations revolved around the distribution of royalties. The group had achieved significant success under the Motown label, producing numerous chart-topping hits and generating substantial revenue. However, the allocation of royalties among the members became a contentious topic, with Kendricks at the center of this dispute. Like many artists of his era, he faced difficulties in obtaining fair compensation for his contributions to the group's achievements. The legal proceedings involved complex negotiations concerning songwriting credits, performance royalties, and various financial elements, as Kendricks sought to assert his rights and claim what he believed was his rightful share of the earnings accrued during his time with the Temptations. In addition to the royalty disputes, Kendricks faced financial hardships that further complicated his post-Temptations journey. Despite his undeniable musical prowess, the shift from being part of a successful ensemble to pursuing a solo career presented its own financial obstacles. Eddie Kendricks faced significant challenges as an independent artist within the music industry, particularly regarding the financial burdens associated with recording, marketing, and touring, all without the backing of a prominent group like the Temptations. The financial pressures he encountered were exacerbated by the transformative changes in the music industry during the 1970s, as artists struggled to adapt to new distribution models and shifting consumer preferences. Like many of his contemporaries, Kendricks had to navigate these evolving dynamics while simultaneously contending with the legal disputes that arose following his departure from the Temptations and the onset of his solo career. These legal challenges not only influenced his legacy, but also overshadowed some of his accomplishments after leaving the group. Dennis Edwards, troubled marriage. Dennis Edwards, the iconic soul vocalist who became a member of the Temptations in 1968, navigated both the triumphs and tribulations of a prominent musical career while also confronting personal difficulties in his marriage to Ruth Pointer, a renowned member of the Pointer Sisters.
You have to stay close to the people, you know. Keep your smile. And always be a person that the fans can talk to.
The union of these two musical luminaries was characterized by a challenging dynamic, overshadowed by allegations of harassment that attracted public scrutiny and contributed to a tarnished image for Edwards beyond his celebrated musical achievements. The romance between Dennis Edwards and Ruth Pointer commenced in the early 1970s when their paths converged within the music industry. At that time, both artists were enjoying significant success, with Edwards lending his soulful voice to the legendary sound of the Temptations, and Pointer making her mark as part of the vibrant Pointer Sisters.
Well, Dick, you know, I'm a little afraid, but I got the people and God on my side, so don't worry about it.
The initial phase of their relationship was marked by the thrill of shared artistic endeavors and the potential of becoming a formidable power couple. They married in 1977 against the backdrop of their thriving careers. However, as time progressed, they encountered various challenges in their marriage. Reports emerged detailing discord, exacerbated by a mix of personal and professional pressures. Edwards' rigorous touring schedule with the Temptations and Pointer's commitments with her group often resulted in extended separations, further straining their relationship. One of the most concerning elements of Dennis Edwards' marriage to Ruth Pointer was the persistent issue of alleged harassment. Accounts of physical confrontations between the couple surfaced, with allegations being made in both directions, revealing the volatile nature of their relationship to the public eye. As media outlets focused on the sensational elements of their personal lives, allegations of harassment significantly marred Edwards' reputation, diminishing the public's regard for the once admired soul singer. The chaotic marriage between Dennis Edwards and Ruth Pointer became a matter of public interest, characterized by legal disputes and court proceedings. Both individuals were embroiled in a cycle of accusations and counter-accusations, which garnered media attention that eclipsed their musical achievements. These legal challenges not only exacerbated the strain on their marriage, but also heightened public scrutiny of their private affairs. Fans and critics found themselves conflicted, torn between their appreciation for the artist's musical prowess and the discomfort stemming from the volatility of their relationship. Dennis Edwards, whose career had previously reached remarkable heights as a member of the Temptations, faced a decline as the adverse publicity surrounding his marriage began to affect him. The controversies and ongoing legal issues overshadowed his artistic accomplishments, forcing him to navigate a delicate balance between his public image and personal difficulties. The music industry, often unforgiving of scandals, appeared less accommodating, adversely affecting Edwards' opportunities and collaborations. Despite the turmoil and legal entanglements, both Dennis Edwards and Ruth Pointer made several attempts to reconcile. However, the intricacies of their relationship, combined with the pressures of fame and a demanding industry, hindered their ability to achieve stability. Observers remained hopeful for a resolution to their challenges, yet the roller coaster of emotional highs and lows continued to characterize their marriage. As disheartening as this may sound, do you know the Temptation was controlled by the Motown label? This was more disrespectful and disheartening than you can imagine. Motown's control over creativity. Motown Records, established by Berry Gordy in 1959, emerged as a formidable entity within the music industry, consistently producing a succession of hits featuring artists such as The Temptations. However, the label's remarkable success cannot be attributed solely to musical prowess. It was equally grounded in its unprecedented authority over the creative processes of its artists. The Temptations, recognized as one of Motown's most legendary groups, found themselves embroiled in intricate disputes regarding creative autonomy.
No, that group consisted of Paul Williams and Eddie Kendricks. We were the distance. We were under the same management with Mr. Milton Jenkins.
Underscoring the fragile equilibrium between artistic freedom and commercial viability. Motown earned the name Hitsville, USA, through a distinctive formula that combined infectious melodies, polished performances, and a unique visual style. Berry Gordy, the founder of the label, was an astute entrepreneur who recognized the necessity of not only producing exceptional music, but also developing a compelling marketable image. This strategy enabled Motown to resonate with a broad audience, effectively transcending racial divides and achieving chart dominance. The foundation of Motown's success lay in a centralized and controlled methodology of music production. Gordy instituted a quality control system that meticulously scrutinized various aspects of an artist's presentation, from their appearance to their stage demeanor. The label employed in-house songwriters, producers, and arrangers who were instrumental in defining the Motown sound. This level of control permeated every facet of an artist's career, encompassing song selection, choreography, and even public appearances. The Temptations, as a quintessential Motown ensemble, were not exempt from the label's influence. Despite their considerable talent and distinctive vocal harmonies, underlying tensions regarding creative control persisted. Motown was infamous for its stringent control over its artists, meticulously crafting their public personas to align with the commercially viable Motown archetype. The label dictated the song selections for the Temptations, frequently compelling the group to perform tracks written by in-house songwriters. While this approach ensured a uniform sound that reinforced the Motown brand, it simultaneously curtailed the artistic liberties of the Temptations. Their aspirations to explore diverse genres and themes often conflicted with Motown's rigid formula, resulting in underlying tensions within the group. Motown's influence extended beyond the recording studio, encompassing live performances as well. The Temptations were required to follow meticulously choreographed routines and uphold a polished stage presence. Although this level of professionalism bolstered Motown's public image, it suppressed the spontaneity and individual creativity that the Temptations yearned for. The struggle for creative autonomy had significant repercussions on both personal and artistic levels, with internal discord within the group intensified by external pressures from Motown. The situation reached a critical juncture in 1968, when lead singer David Ruffin was dismissed, underscoring the sacrifices artists made when they challenged Motown's authority, and it was heartbreaking. Substance misuse amongst group members. The 1960s represented a period of significant social and cultural transformation, with the music industry reflecting these changes. The Motown era, distinguished by the emergence of African American artists and the establishment of influential labels such as Motown Records, produced numerous timeless classics. However, this decade was also characterized by widespread substance use, as many musicians sought solace or escape through various substances. The Temptations, composed of David Ruffin, Eddie Kendricks, Paul Williams, Melvin Franklin, and Otis Williams, were not immune to the allure of illegal substances. The pressures associated with fame, relentless touring, and the demands of the music industry fostered an environment where substance use became a common coping strategy for numerous artists, including members of the Temptations.
Why are you laughing?
Well, not really. We haven't had a chance to work this one out yet.
No, this is the thing that you and I were talking about. Normally you get together and choreograph.
The consequences of substance use were particularly severe for individual members, notably David Ruffin, the group's charismatic lead singer. His struggles with substance resulted in erratic behavior, poor performances, and strained interpersonal relationships within the group. Ruffin's health declined rapidly, ultimately leading to his departure from the ensemble in 1968. Similarly, Eddie Kendricks, recognized for his falsetto voice, faced his own battles with substance use, which adversely affected his physical and mental well-being, hindering his ability to fully engage in the group's artistic pursuits. The detrimental effects of substance use on the health of these key members inevitably compromised the overall cohesion and performance quality of the Temptations. The impact of substance use on the Temptations' performances was significant, even as the group continued to generate hits and engage audiences. However, the internal strife and erratic behavior stemming from substance use adversely affected their live shows, leading to missed performances, delayed appearances, and an inconsistent stage presence that characterized the later years of the Temptations. The recording process in the studio also experienced setbacks. The collaborative synergy that had previously defined their music began to diminish as substance-related tensions intensified within the group. This decline in professionalism and artistic unity ultimately compromised the quality of their later recordings. The remarkable talent of the Temptations became obscured by the darker influences operating within the group. Now, let's examine their finances. Financial exploitation. Irrespective of the considerable success of Motown, its artists frequently found themselves subjected to an inequitable royalty distribution system. Berry Gordy, the founder of Motown, was known for his stringent control over both the creative and financial dimensions of the label. While Motown's artist development program offered essential training, it also imposed significant costs on the performers. Artists, including the Temptations, were bound by contracts that predominantly favored the label rather than the artists themselves. The royalties, which represent the financial compensation for the use of their music, were unevenly allocated, resulting in many artists receiving only a small fraction of the profits from their chart-topping hits. This disparity became a source of frustration and disillusionment for those who contributed to Motown's success. A critical factor contributing to the financial exploitation of Motown artists was their limited control over their financial matters. The contracts signed by these artists often granted Motown considerable authority over their earnings, leaving the musicians with minimal influence regarding the management of their finances. This lack of financial autonomy had significant repercussions for the Temptations and their contemporaries. Like many Motown acts, the Temptations were not merely performers, but also employees of the label. This unique arrangement resulted in the artists having little insight into the financial dealings related to their work, leaving them unaware of the actual profits generated by their successful albums and sold-out performances. The financial exploitation faced by the Temptations profoundly affected their lives, both personally and professionally. Despite their widespread acclaim and success, many artists, including members of the Temptations, often encountered significant financial difficulties that jeopardized their economic stability. This situation led to strained personal relationships and various challenges. David Ruffin, one of the prominent lead singers during the group's peak, notably grappled with issues related to substance use and financial instability. His experiences highlighted a broader concern regarding the financial exploitation faced by artists, even as their music continued to resonate with global audiences. Following their rise to fame, the Temptations, along with other Motown artists, began to advocate for equitable compensation for their artistic contributions. This advocacy resulted in legal disputes as they sought to renegotiate contracts and regain control over their financial futures. Turbulent life of David Ruffin. David Ruffin, born Davis Eli Ruffin, on January 18, 1914 in Mississippi, experienced a challenging childhood marked by significant hardship. He lost his mother at a young age and was raised in an environment of poverty. His father, Eli Ruffin, was reportedly maltreating and compelling David and his siblings to perform as a singing group in churches, while David and his brother Jimmy, who later achieved success as a solo artist, managed to gain their father's favor through their musical talents. Their older siblings reportedly endured physical harassment from their father. David Ruffin emerged as one of the original lead singers of The Temptations, where he sang tenor and became renowned for his distinctive raspy voice, earning recognition as one of the greatest tenor singers in music history.
And I was 16 then. That's when I used to have to walk Melvin Franklin home.
In 1989, he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for his contributions to the group during its ascent to fame. Despite his remarkable vocal abilities, Ruffin's career was overshadowed by a severe addiction to illegal substances, which led to increasingly erratic behavior. His struggles with substance addiction resulted in missed performances and violent incidents, prompting Motown to attempt to manage the situation discreetly. However, Ruffin's demands and growing paranoia, which included a preference for traveling separately from his bandmates, made it increasingly difficult to conceal his issues. Ultimately, his erratic conduct led to his dismissal from The Temptations in 1968. Despite multiple rehabilitation attempts and brief reunions with the group, Ruffin's battle with addiction persisted until his premature death.
I just think that was time for a change, and life lands a crushing blow sometimes, you know.
The tragic story of Paul Williams. Paul Williams, celebrated for his smooth baritone voice and exceptional dance skills, played a crucial role in the success of The Temptations. However, behind the scenes, he faced significant health challenges and battled depression during the group's formative years. Notably, Williams was the sole member of The Temptations who refrained from alcohol, often admonishing his fellow band members about the detrimental effects of drinking on their health.
They give you a bad time as being the baby?
I get a little bit of that
Oh,
sometimes.
can we say happy birthday to Glenn? He is Gemini's birthday.
Ironically, as the group achieved immense popularity as one of Motown's leading acts, Williams himself succumbed to alcoholism. According to Otis Williams in his memoir, Paul's drinking issues may have been exacerbated by an affair with Winnie Brown, a hairstylist for the Supremes. Although Paul had married young and fathered 5 children, he found himself torn between his family and his relationship with Winnie. Over time, the man who had previously only consumed milk began to drink heavily. Otis Williams remarked on the difficulty of witnessing this transformation, noting the stark contrast between Paul's initial sobriety and his later consumption of 2 to 3/5 of Courvoisier daily. Williams also suffered from sickle cell anemia, which contributed to his chronic pain and fatigue, further complicating his struggles with alcoholism and depression. Tragically, on August 17, 1973, Williams was discovered deceased in a Detroit alley, with the cause of death officially classified as unknown, leaving many questions surrounding the circumstances of his passing. His death was a profound loss for both the group and those who cared for him, leading to speculation that there was more to his story than mere struggles with addiction. While he faced significant challenges, there were indications that he was making efforts to improve his situation, leaving the truth of that fateful night shrouded in uncertainty. To understand better about the effect of a group member's death, check out the next one, The Effects of Melvin's Death. Melvin Franklin became a member of The Temptations in 1964, where he contributed as the bass vocalist, earning the nickname Blue within the ensemble. In the late 1960s, he was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, yet he persevered in his musical career. The cortisone treatment for his condition led to the development of diabetes in the 1980s. In 1978, Franklin was fired multiple times while attempting to thwart a car theft. He remained a vital part of The Temptations, having been with the group since its inception. Franklin passed away on February 23, 1995, at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles, at the age of 52. His death was attributed to heart failure, which was further complicated by his diabetes. In reflecting on Franklin's passing, Otis Williams, in his biography of the Temptations, offered a heartfelt tribute to their enduring friendship of over 30 years. He expressed a deep affection for all the members of the Temptations.
That's why I say people taking people's places are. I could never in life sing Cloud Nine like Dennis Edwards.
But highlighted the unique bond he shared with Melvin, who had been by his side through both triumphs and challenges. Williams noted that after the death of Eddie Kendricks, only 2 original members remained, which allowed him and Melvin to share a profound understanding of their experiences. He emphasized the unspoken connection they had, rooted in their shared history and struggles, which was gone when Melvin died. So what do you think about the Temptation Group? Do you think that they did well to survive, not minding the challenges they faced? Let us know in the comments section. If you want more interesting revelations about your favorite music group, be sure to like, subscribe, and watch the next video shown on your screen. See you there.